which is circling the altar in the Masonic Lodge. Now, during this, you are hoodwinked or blindfolded, and you are led by a noose around your neck with your sleeve pulled over your arm and your pant leg rolled up, and you circle the altar a number of times. And we'll get to this on the other side. This is the Freezone. All right, and welcome back to the second hour of the Freezone. This is where it starts to get interesting. Covered a lot of topics there in that first hour, a lot of thoughts, hopefully blew a couple of minds. Hopefully people are willing to at least doubt what they believe they already know and go and start to look again, because we got to put these things aside, and we've got to understand who these people are that are running our nation. I mean, realize that 80% of the Supreme Court are Freemasons. Realize that when I was at the WTO IMF protest in Washington, D.C., and I yelled at the riot squads. Now, we're talking about the cops that are holding 600 people hostage. And I yelled to them, how many of you are widows' sons? And they all looked my way. I mean, this is a scary force we're up against, and they're all in there doing their business behind closed, locked doors. You go to myspace.com/Freeman TV and check out some of my pictures from Hollywood and have an idea of just how large some of these temples are. I mean, they take up a block and there's no windows, and they're doing dark rituals inside of there. There's, I've been inside many of these temples. You'll find coffins, you'll find crazy masks, you'll find the Ark of the Covenant. I definitely found that. And this gets me to where we're at now. So we had to get through some loops to start to understand a few things. Now let's get to Barack Hussein Obama. Yes, very curious fellow. I find it curious his name. Barack, that's the name of the guy in Israel. And Hussein, well, we all know he's Nebuchadnezzar, Lucifer. Obama, a.k.a. Barry Soetoro. So there's going to be much to come here when we start to get into the interesting act of this is not our president. I think that this will make for a very, very interesting time indeed. And there have been a number of articles out. One that I really like was by Devi Kidd, and she goes on to say, the circus out in Washington, D.C. for the unlawful swearing in of the imposter president Barack Hussein Obama, a.k.a. Barry Soetoro, and so forth, is now over. All the gushing and slobbering over the trashy-looking rag worn by the brilliant Michelle Obama has faded into the night. I wonder how many mindless mouthpieces given their commentary. The wonderful, smart First Lady. Now, that outfit she wore, the black widow dress, I mean, come on, that was bizarre. Michelle Obama was ordered by the Illinois Supreme Court to stop practicing law. Curious. We cannot find out, though, because the records are sealed. So she goes on, Devi Kidd, saying that in 2004, the imposter president unlawfully ran for the U.S. Senate and got help from Acorn, and now they're trying to push a bill. So on February 28th of 2008, they began pushing legislation to issue of citizenship, and they introduced a bill to the Senate for consideration. The bill was known as S-2678, Children of the Military Families Natural-Born Citizen Act. The bill was co-sponsored by, surprise, surprise, Senator Barack Obama, Senator Hillary Clinton, and another Mendez and Coburn. And then again, they put forth the bill S-2678, attempted to change Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5 of the Constitution of the United States with reference to the requirements of being a natural-born citizen, and hence the entitlement to run for President of the United States. And this bill met the same fate that the similar attempts to change the Constitution have in the past. Attempts such as the Natural Born Citizen Act were known to have failed, and that text scrubbed from the internet with only a shadowy cache copy left. So we find that this story, I mean, it's on the globe in the grocery store aisles. The story of Barack Obama's birth. Why won't he give his birth certificate? Well, I don't believe anything is done by chance by these guys. I believe it's all an act and that it is set up for a further agenda. And so, of course, they knew that this story was going to come out about Barack Obama's birth. So you would use this. We need to look at how they would use this, and what could easily happen is this whole idea of opening the Constitution because nobody wants to let Barack go. So they open the Constitution to a constitutional convention, and most likely it goes out the window. The Constitution, that is, that goddamn piece of paper, as the ex-president put it. Which, to me is a Masonic document, and therefore, I don't know. I see these things as spells. I see them as Masonic spells, and therefore they need to usurp their own spell, or else another regime has gotten into power. It's a curious thing. But what I look at is the overarching view. I also take a bit of a synchromystical view to all of this, and this is where a lot of my predicting comes from, is kind of pulling different tabs and things together that come to me in seemingly miraculous ways, and I don't know, but I keep getting them right. So I'm going to try again, and I'm going to throw one at you here, and it may pan out, it may not. I don't know. This is not a competition for me. I'm not a competitive person. I do not have the desire to be the one that got it all right. The reason I even do any of this, like predicting 911, predicting 1013, predicting W being forced into office, is so that the people that hear me go, okay, I see this as a big stage show. I see this as acts of prestidigitation, acts of stage magic. So we're going to have a look at Akhenaten, and we're going to wonder about his change. Now, when Akhenaten came before the public, he came and said, "We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek," as the continuum of that. And what he was quoting was Hopi prophecy. So the Hopi prophecy goes on to say, "You have been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. You must tell the people that this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in the right relation? Do the children want what they see in you? Where is your water? Know your garden. Does your life grow corn?" Okay, these are very, very important questions. And this is something that we all have no answers for because we're not growing any corn. We're not growing anything, and most of our children don't want anything to do with their parents, and our relationships are in hell. So we're at a very weak state because we are not together. We are not unified in our own spirits with each other. So the Hopi go on to say, "It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for the leader." Okay, this is the prophecy that Akhenaten was quoting. This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart, and they will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. Now, to me, this is something that I've been stating all along, the idea of synchronicity. Go ahead, let go. Everybody's trying to cling to these old ways, and everybody wants to cling to the Constitution, these Masonic documents. And I'm like, you guys, this is the Masons you're talking about. You don't understand their religion any more than I do. I mean, I might have a little more understanding because I read all their damn books, but yet here is a mysterious group that is doing secret things behind locked doors, and they own your country. They are the corporation that owns the United States of America. Okay, so this also all goes back to the Knights Templar, which I think we will get to. So this river is taking us forward. It is. And if we could let go, if we could quit chasing our enemy, if we could stop trying to hold on to outdated, outmoded ideals and just let ourselves go, I believe that the universe does have a destination and that we are all part of it. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above water, see who's in there with you and celebrate. All right? This is a state that we're all going to be in here very soon. Because if you think that Barack Obama is doing away with FEMA camps or doing away with Patriot Act, doing away with all the negative things that we saw through the 66 W, then you're wrong. Because all that's not going away. And it's going to get worse. And there are signs of that. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. Don't take yourself too serious. Don't take any of this too serious. People ask me, how is it that I'm still happy and smiling? Well, this is an adventure for me. I'm loving it. It's curious, and I'm not afraid. I'm having an amazing, miraculous life. The time of the lone wolf is over, the Hopi go on to say. Gather yourself, and this is the truth. And that's something that's been instilled us in our pride of American individualism. The time of the lone wolf is over. We must come together. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and vocabulary. We don't need it. We can get along together just fine, every one of us. And we don't need those leaders. We don't need government. We don't need to go back to all these old ways. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Okay? That is from the elders of the